Hello and welcome to the Rested podcast. My name's Mark Selby. I love the theatre of travel, discovering the stories of journeys and learning how people use their travel time. If you're new to Rested, welcome. And my thanks to listeners for your feedback and the questions prompted by recent episodes. When Rested began, I dreamt public transport might become a preferred way to travel, rather than just a necessity. An ambitious, possibly crazy goal. Some people did suggest I was daft, others shrugged their shoulders or gave me the GFing response. The G stands for grin. Polite nodding with a smile implying agreement. Thankfully, others were very supportive. I carried on, and strange things started happening. Rather than labouring on the rational benefits of public transport and risk becoming an erstwhile train or bus spotter, incidentally I'm neither, in the process, I focus on our travel time and how we use it. Rested, or to give it its correct pronunciation, reasted, is the Swedish word for travel time. As I looked more closely at my own passenger experiences and tried to understand what was happening around me, a new world began to emerge. It was amplified by regular listener feedback. Consistent themes are the pleasure of positive encounters with new people, interesting conversations, and the genuine kindness of strangers. In the last few days, listener Celia told me how she had twice met a lady on her daily tram to work in Geneva. On the second occasion, they had a conversation. Encouraged by Rested, and they now meet up for coffees and lunch. Jason from Bristol said he had a great chat with a stranger on the London Underground last week. It started with Jason asking about a book on algorithms the person was reading, and that Jason was planning to buy. The stranger then picked up on the trace of an American accent. Jason's lived in the UK for 20 years, and the conversation turned to politics, a topic that Jason normally avoids. But a good discussion began on the disconnects and protests they're both currently watching in the USA. The conversation matched the length of the long journey. These stories of listeners using their travel time in new, rewarding ways are a joy to read, hear, and share. Another common theme is how people use their travel time to be productive. Earlier episodes have included the creativity of authors and musicians inspired while travelling. But many of you have said travel time helps you with your workload, giving you time to think and craft new plans or solutions to thorny problems. For myself, the views while travelling can be inspiring, and the activity around me entertaining, but the priceless moments of reflection and insight tend to occur when the view is most bland. Rather than distracting, these moments allow me to focus on random or lingering thoughts. I normally carry a small notebook and pen to scribble things down for later consideration. I find it much easier to later flick through the notebooks quickly and catch those thoughts than recording and accessing them on a screen. Each to our own. Quite apart from your own travel experiences, there's been a lot of feedback on the great artificial intelligence investment bubble. Very few have suggested the bubble won't burst. Most of you are considering what we might do to reduce its impact on us. Let's just assume the bubble will burst with a pop or start collapsing, and that the fallout will be immense. Rather than adopting the frozen stance of a rabbit in the glare of oncoming headlights, or an ostrich with its head in the sand and facing the world with its backside, we do have some options. We know the pop will be reported in detail by news media. The coverage will be sensational and will be drawn to either rubbernecking the misfortunes of others or blaming someone or thing for what's just happened. If we focus on blame and our inability to change things ourselves, we risk becoming angry, frustrated sheep driven by populist sheep flockers rather than shepherds. That approach has already contributed to the current predicament. As with travel, if we know there's trouble further down the line, do we just stay on the current route and get frustrated by the congestion and delays we know we'll face? Or do we take a detour, perhaps even select a new destination? Rather than staying on our current life route, focusing on preserving our current status quo, lifestyles and incomes, what might an ideal life look like for each of us? Is there a new route or destination we should be considering? It could be radically different to what we have now. The pandemic caused many to change their routes and destinations. Whilst all of us lived through the same wretched storm, the boats we travelled in varied enormously. The revised journeys, if feasible, included moving families from cramped city homes to rural areas, changing jobs, or taking advantage of new work from home opportunities. Not all were so lucky. Those options might not be available to us, but what could we do? Writing in the Washington Post, the journalist Dana Milbank recently suggested a simple route we might consider. He interviewed many academics and looked at recent research that might help us to find a new, meaningful path in these chaotic times. The consistently recommended path was purpose. I quote, "In these grim times, the most efficient path to living a contented life may be to put ourselves through the same simple exercise of thinking about our purpose and then taking a step, even a modest one, toward fulfilling it." So how do we determine our purpose, that new route or destination? Psychology professor Todd Kashdan says the best exercise is to ask yourself, what is the world missing? And then, how could you uniquely fill that gap a little bit? The specific purpose doesn't matter. It's just a question of what lights you up. Then commit to make a specific, regular contribution, particularly time, toward that purpose and spend, say, 20 minutes every other day assessing your progress. I was struck by Dana Milbank's comment, the surest path to happiness for many of us could be as simple as this. Stop trying to be happy and start figuring out how to make other people happy. As a new route or destination, it's certainly not as radical as moving homes or jobs. It's far easier and could help us cope with the coming storm. Thinking about the contribution we want to make and then taking steps, however modest, to achieving it will almost certainly bring us positive rewards. For myself, if I can help people to see how public, active and shared transport might make them and their communities happier, healthier, safer and even wealthier, I will be making a contribution. It's an interesting challenge in the face of industry lobbyists and entrenched thinking, but I believe I can contribute. It's a personal purpose. I hope you explore your own routes and destinations. It's not too difficult. Your next journey could help you identify a new, positive purpose. Enjoy your travels. Thanks for listening to the Rested podcast. Please subscribe for details of new episodes and tell your friends. I look forward to reading and sharing your travel stories. Please email restedpodcast@gmail.com. And my thanks to everyone that has contributed to Rested so far. Enjoy your travel time.